Hello, hello, welcome everyone. MTL Sports Podcast. We're on episode 69. Last episode of
69?
this 69, you say. Last episode of this week. But just because it's the last episode doesn't mean that we won't have a good one. We're gonna end the week with a bang. We got a whole bunch to cover today, starting with NFL Championships Sunday. We got the NFC Championship game. We got the AFC Championship game. We're gonna go over both happening this Sunday. Plus, rapid fire. We're going to call this rapid fire NBA edition because we had a whole slew of NBA news over the past, 48 hours or so. So we got a lot to cover there. And with all that being said, you guys stay tuned. Start NFL Championship Sunday. We got 2 more games left before the Super Bowl, both on this Sunday. So we got a lot to cover. We're gonna go in depth, starting with what's the first game up? First game up is Chiefs Ravens AFC Championship game. Mahomes has been to 4 or 5 straight. This is Lamar Jackson's first AFC Championship game. So we got 2 MVPs going against each other. One's already a 2-time MVP. One's about to win. I guess they announced it in a week or so, but we basically have two MVPs, 2-time winner MVPs going against each other. It's going to be one hell of a game. The first game up on Sunday. Lawrence, who do you got in this one and why?
It's not who I got. It's who I had to believe in. And the only person I had to believe in is Lamar Jackson. I am part of the entire United States in which I'm part of the people who are completely anti-Chiefs for this game. I hope the Chiefs nothing but the worst. So you don't have to ask me more than 3 times. I'm a true riding and dying with the Baltimore Ravens in this one.
Okay, fair enough. I think for me, I echo your same sentiments right there. I am very anti-Chief. Obviously, I'm a Cincinnati fan, so we don't like that kind over there, right? Over in Kansas City, but I honestly thought last week the Bills were the only team that could beat Kansas City. And it turns out that their kicker is the only one that can that can beat Kansas City, and he failed to do it. So, and after what you told me the other day while we were off camera, I think this is the NFL's way of having a back-to-back champion, the first time since Tom Brady was the most recent guy to go back-to-back Super Bowl winners. I think it's going to happen this year, guys. Not to spoil anything, but I'm not going to bet against Mahomes twice. So I'm going with the Chiefs in this one. I know they're playing in Baltimore, but something after last week, I just had this feeling that they're really going to milk this Taylor Swift thing, and in order for that to happen, they're going to need to show some mid-game shots of her celebrating the Travis Kelce touchdown during the Super Bowl in Vegas. That's only going to up the ante for them. So I got the Chiefs in this one. I'm taking the spread as well. The Ravens should win. They can win for sure because the Ravens are the most complete team. I had my doubts before, but they definitely have strung together an impressive season. Definitely closed out strong. Lamar's played well, hasn't turned the ball over, which he was prone to do for a good chunk of the season. So I believe in Lamar, I really do, but this just smells and has Kansas City written all over it, honestly.
So I'll turn it around, and yes, I believe it smells and it has Kansas City written all over it because of the rumor that Kelce might retire. Now they got to make sure he wins one more before he retires, and got to make sure we milk the Swifty thing and everything. But here's the thing. We kind of made fun of Baltimore for going out and getting Odell Beckham Jr. and paying him as much as they did, because he wasn't like a guaranteed number one, and that was a fair reasoning. But we didn't realize
sure.
Zay Flowers was going to be a true number one. We didn't know that Zay Flowers was going to go off like this. And honestly, you got to think of it. Odell Beckham Jr. hasn't been strained to his too far yet so far this season. He might have a chance to have a breakout game. And you remember, if we do remember very clearly, that Rams Bengals Super Bowl, there was an argument to be made that if Odell Beckham Jr. never got hurt, he would have been MVP of that game. So
this is true.
This is one of those moments for Odell to show up and kind of just go hard again. But no, I think Likely is come in perfectly in place of Mark Andrews. Now, is he as good of a blocker as Mark Andrews, and does he work in the scheme as well? Probably not. But is he firing all cylinders right now? And is he getting Lamar touchdowns? Yes, he is. So are we going to complain about it? No, we're not. So at the end of the day, the Ravens are doing what they need to do to win. We know the Ravens can milk clock like the Bills did. So on paper, we shouldn't have to be questioning whether or not the Ravens are going to give them a whole lot and whether the Ravens are going to win. It's just, whose meddling hands are going to be in the pot to try to stir this thing up. That's what it all comes down to. Is it going to be a clean fought game like the Buffalo game? To which, if it is, props. I'll thoroughly enjoy it. If it's not, well, I'll have something bad to write about.
Fair enough. You're right. Likely's been, coming into his own. Mark Andrews is apparently going to come off of the IR to play in this game. He was questionable last week. They decided against it. This week, I think he is preparing to play. So Lamar will have an additional weapon. So that's good. I think the key for this game, like you said, is how much time of possession the Ravens can just milk. Because I think the best recipe to beat Kansas City is you got to keep the ball out of Mahomes' hand, right? And you got to force them to make a mistake or two. I think the Ravens are definitely capable of doing that. But on the flip side, I think the Ravens, their weakness is still that secondary, man. I don't trust the secondary. I think, the Texans were equipped, to expose the secondary, but they just got after CJ because they knew if we give CJ any of 3 to 4 seconds, he's going to pick us apart. Even though he's a rookie, he's very poised. He's very good at, throwing his receivers open. He'll pick us apart. And so they rushed him, always brought an extra guy, and he just couldn't handle the pressure. I think the Texans didn't even get into the red zone. So I think, the Ravens, very good defense. Chiefs, offensive line is very good, although they've been questionable, especially Jawan Taylor, probably the weakest part of the offensive line. It will be a battle in the trenches for sure, and we know Mahomes can improvise. We know Mahomes loves to improvise. He can make plays on the run, and I've even noticed that he's not necessarily like looking to run, but like if he has a lane, he's running more now. So I think it's gonna be very tough to just kind of combat that, So I think those are two key takeaways that I'm expecting, both teams to try to exploit.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree. I just got my fingers crossed over here. We're praying, we're hoping for that Ravens dub. I hope everyone else is too.
For sure. Wouldn't want anybody else but an AFC North team to represent in the Super Bowl. So, but I got the Chiefs in this one. But let's move on. NFC Championship game, 6:00. We got the Lions. We got the 49ers. It's actually at 6:30. But we're in San Fran, Levi's Stadium. Detroit is a 7-point favorite, a touchdown. Not favorite, but they're underdog by a touchdown. How do we feel about this game? Who do you have and why?
Well, I'm on the firm belief that the Lions can win. I don't think anyone should be believing that the Lions are coming in here as a mega underdog or a Cinderella story. I think the Lions are a very complete team, especially now if they actually use Jahmyr Gibbs. I think that level in which he can bring to them. I remember when you were part of the people who were telling me that picking him up at that pick that they did was a horrible draft pick, and I was just like, no,
This is true.
This is what they wanted. They were proving that they wanted a running back like this caliber, but they obviously didn't trust DeAndre Swift to be that kind of caliber running back. Although he was good, he just couldn't stay healthy. At the end of the day, if I'm going to go to the Super Bowl, I need a guy who's going to stay healthy at the running back position throughout the whole season. They did a good job with keeping David Montgomery in order to make sure that Jahmyr Gibbs was not the total pack mule that we probably thought he wasn't going to be able to be. So they could use him interchangeably. And I don't know, maybe that little Zach Ertz pickup in the middle of the week just kind of said to me, maybe they are not who we didn't think they were. Maybe they are really this good. Maybe they are going to make some noise. Maybe we're going to see something happen, and we're all going to be proud of this team. So, all in all, I believe that, yes, the 49ers are probably going to win the game. Will I be rooting for the 49ers? No, but I will be rooting for Christian McCaffrey. The rest of the team, I really won't be rooting for. I'll be rooting for their defense to do okay, because, Steve Wilkes is still the guy. But, no, we're pretty much all in over here for the Lions. This is probably going to be one of those games that I probably try to avoid betting on, just because I don't want to get tied up in, I don't want to say emotions or anything, but I just don't want to get tied up feeling some way or the other. I'd just rather watch a beautiful game, honestly. If anything does hit, I can see the over hitting, so I might bet on that one just so I don't have to root for an outcome. But I feel like an over here, mainly because I just think if the Lions had just a little bit better of a secondary, there would be a little bit more kickback, but it's just the lack of their secondary.
Yeah, I agree. The over is probably what I will take. Seems like it opened at 51.5, so it came down a little bit. But 50.5 is still a great number. I will be taking the spread, of course. But my rationale comes down to this, right? We gotta see the status of Debo. All right, if Debo plays, if he is off the injury report and it says he's going to play, the 49ers will win. If Debo does not play, and you see on Sunday at like 4 or 5 o'clock, hey, Debo Samuel will not play in this game, the Lions will win. I think the writing is on the wall. We've seen during that stretch that, when Brock Purdy didn't have Debo, granted he didn't have a couple other people as well, but when he did have Debo, the offense just didn't look the same. I think he is a big part of the offense. Now, that doesn't mean that Brock Purdy can't get it done without him. I just think that, a lot of things are predicated on him. They like to move him around. He runs the ball occasionally. He's a big threat. And I think it takes a lot of pressure off of Purdy when he's in the game. When he's out, I think that puts more pressure on Purdy, second-year quarterback. That's a lot to process. And not to say he's going to falter, but I'm going to go with history. And we have about, 3 to 4 games of history right now. So I think I'm going to lean that way. But I think overall I'm leaning 49ers, but with that, the caveat I just said. I think the big thing for the Lions is making timely stops. Like you said, secondary is not the best. Can easily be exploited. So, Kittle, Ayuk have to have good games. Christian McCaffrey has to get involved in the pass game as well, help out Purdy. And then they can make a dent. And then on the Lions side, 49ers struggle against the run. So if you're the Lions, you got to mix it up. You got to stay with the strategy of, give Gibbs the majority of the touches, let Montgomery ground and pound, in the red zone. But otherwise, when you have field, when you have space, give it to Gibbs. He's proven that he's a really good runner, really good pass catcher, really good off the screen game as well. So those are going to be keys if you want to, because you got to put up points against the 49ers. And those are the only ways that they've shown that they can put up points. So it'll still be a good game. I think this game will be honestly better than the first one, if I'm being honest.
Well, I mean, I hope so. I mean, because you never know how the Super Bowl is going to go, so you at least want the championship games to be exciting and eventful. The best way to put it. You want those to be at least the most eventful thing possible. Because I mean, once that bell rings, for these two, you don't know what's going down. But you look at the last 5 games the teams have played. The Lions are a more hot team. They just are. They are just more hot of a team. Because the only loss they've had in the last 5 is Dallas. Should they have lost to Dallas? In my opinion, no. It has been proven left and right that they got screwed. So we're just going to put an asterisk on that. So if we just look at their last 4 or last 5, 4 out of, they're 4 out of 5 in their last 5, but they put down some teams. Like they put down Minnesota twice. Minnesota was fighting for a playoff spot. They put down the Rams in the playoffs. The Rams were one of the hottest teams. They put down the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Is that a lot to write about? I mean, kind of. They took down the Eagles, who were the defending NFC championship.
Yeah, Lions are definitely hot. 49ers, they've played well, but, just something about, missing Debo that this team kind of struggles with. So we will see. Nonetheless, should still be a great game. And then I think next week we have the Pro Bowl, right? And then in 2 weeks we'll have the Super Bowl. So enjoy this last Sunday of football for the next, because you won't have another game for 2 weeks, unless you want to watch some guys play flag football, if that's your cup of tea. Certainly,
I'm always down for some good XFL, or we're calling it the UFL now.
This is true. That starts March 30th, I think, or something like that.
End of March, beginning of April.
So we will start covering that as soon as, I guess they start having some things to cover. But The Rock was on TV yesterday. Shared a little bit about the new season. Should be fun. Of course, we're going to be we're buying season tickets, so we're going to all of the Defenders games. They were great last year. Don't know how the roster works, if they're going to keep most of the same guys or how this works. So should be interesting. But yeah, that's it. NFL Championship Sunday preview. We're wrapping that up, and up next we got Rapid Fire NBA edition. Stay tuned. Welcome everyone. We're back, and we're gonna start Rapid Fire. We got a bunch of NBA news, but first, actually, let's talk about a little quick NFL topic. Harbaugh is now the coach of the Chargers. He will leave Michigan after winning the national championship, and will join the Chargers on a 5-year deal. Lawrence, how do you feel about this hire? Is it the right one for the Chargers to get them to where they want to be?
100% it is. I mean, dang. Dude, you saw the last time he was in the NFL. Last time he was in the NFL, he was going to the Super Bowl with the 49ers. Now the 49ers are going back to the Super Bowl against the Ravens. So it's kind of like, full circle there. Last time those two teams played in the Super Bowl, he was in it, brother versus brother. But I think he is the guy to do something with that organization.
Yep.
He's pretty much won everywhere he's gone. He went into Michigan. I'm not gonna say university had been kind of down on its luck, but I mean, you pay attention. Michigan was kind of struggling a little bit there. Not saying Michigan was bad, because they're constantly going to bowl games. But is that really all you want? Is just to go to bowl games? No, you want to go to the best bowl games. You want to go to the playoffs. So yeah, I think he changed that whole thing around. And he's probably going to do it again, and he'll probably go down as one of the best college/NFL coaches of all time.
Yeah, I agree. Great fit for the Chargers. Will be interesting to see the dynamic. Will he be given full control? Will they pair him with a GM? That'll be. I guess we'll find out later. But he's probably the best pick. Pete Carroll did want the job as well. So I guess there was kind of like a ticking time, time bomb almost. So it seemed from the go that he was going to be the coach. It was just a matter of time. But great hire for them. And yeah, 5 years, at least 5 years, in LA. But we're gonna move on to the NBA. As you've seen when we started this segment, we have some NBA news. Doc Rivers was hired as the Milwaukee's Bucks next head coach, but this was after, I guess this happened yesterday. Adrian Griffin was let go after 43 games. The Bucks had a 30 and 13 record. So what, 2 games past halfway mark, they let him go. Obviously, you never want to see a coach get let go, especially a first year head coach, rookie head coach. 43 games in, he has a winning record. More, double. He has double his losses and wins. So pretty extraordinary. But honestly, I think it was the right move. Lawrence, how do you feel about the firing? And then tell me about what you think about Doc Rivers being the next coach.
Now, see, I don't understand the Doc Rivers hiring because I feel like if you're going to move in season, you got to move within. But apparently, I was watching TNT and everything, and they were saying, well, technically he was a consultant. I guess he helped get players hired or help find players for the team, whatever you want to consider his former position with the team was. My thing is, I agree they should have fired the head coach. That was a given. He was only doing so well because he has like the best team possible. I'm not saying there's not better teams out there, but like, okay, what are contending better teams than what he has? Okay, maybe you could say the 76ers are maybe a slight better. I don't know what you could, but we're just gonna throw some teams out there. You could say the Nuggets are better. You could say, let's think of some other teams. You see how hard it is. Clippers, Celtics. Like, see, there's not that many. There's not that many teams. I don't know. Timberwolves are better. I don't know about that. I think they're just playing really well now. But I think Timberwolves are getting coached really well. I think the biggest thing you can see about the Bucks is they're literally beating teams because they have stars. They're not beating teams because they're coached well, because the organization on the court is working. I mean, hell, they could barely beat the Pistons. And the only reason you're beating the Pistons in those games is because your players are just better. It's not because of coaching. If it was coaching, you would have beaten the Pistons by 20. You're not beating them by 5. You're beating them by 20. There's coaching involved. You also got to remember, like, I'm not going to say he's too young, but, like, is Lillard going to respect him a little bit? I mean, apparently Bobby Portis didn't even respect him to call a team-only meeting and exclude him because, they had some things to talk about with the scheme and everything because the scheme wasn't working. So, like, you're telling me, like, the down-end guy, Bobby Portis, like, he's not even a starting unit. I mean, given he is a good player and everything, but he doesn't even think he's a good coach. Bobby Portis is not coming out and saying, but Bobby Portis is literally leading the charge for a team-only meeting, then, dude, obviously something's not working. And if something's not working, you fix it.
Yeah, I agree. The writing was on the wall. It was. I know he got hired before the Dame trade, but even then, it was a questionable hire. Nick Nurse was out there. I thought he was the guy for the job. Apparently, Giannis didn't want Nick Nurse. I guess that's fine. But I think for where they were heading, they needed a veteran head coach. They didn't need a guy in his first year. I don't think that was a good idea at all. I think rarely does that ever work out where you have, literally championship aspirations and you get a rookie head coaching. I think only Eric Spoelstra is probably the only one that's like taking over a team that's like, all right, like you have, 2-3 stars and you got to get it done now. You could say Steve Kerr, But did we really think the Warriors were going to pop off just as soon as Steve Kerr, took over for the job? I didn't think so back then. I know the Warriors were good; they were in the playoffs, but no one saw what eventually happened there. So, and then David Blatt is another comparison. But we got to remember, hey, David Blatt was hired before LeBron decided to go back to Cleveland. He was pretty much hired to kind of coach up Kyrie, Deion Waiters, and some of those young guys, and then Wiggins when they drafted Wiggins. So, those comparisons are there, but aren't really, applicable in the situation. But other than that, I mean, the defense was just the most standout thing. Like, they were just atrocious. They've been trending 22nd this season in defense, and for the month of January, I think they were 27th. So they were trending down. Like you said earlier, like they barely beat the Pistons. I think the Pistons were neck and neck with them, and at some points, Pistons were beating them. And it took Giannis having like a 37-point triple-double to beat them. When that happens, you got to get rid of the guy. He lost the locker room. They didn't respect him, like you said. They hold in players-only meetings. When that stuff starts to happen, there's only so much you can do. And this was the one option they have because, yeah, the team probably needs to be changed a little bit too, but they don't have the draft picks. I think they literally don't have any draft picks. They might have 1 second. So this was, I guess, what you could call their trade deadline move is, hey, let's get a new coach. Like this is basically all we can do. So I feel for the guy, but he had to go. And then Doc Rivers, I guess I get it. He's coached a bunch of stars. They said on NBA Today that he's coached like 11 of the top 75 players of all time. He has experience with stars. So I guess that.
But I guess
that makes it okay. But Doc just in game sevens, he's just not good in the playoffs. If he's not front running, he's just not good. And I don't with a team that struggled in the playoffs, aka last year. This is just a little puzzling,
I mean, that's my thing. Is like they were talking about who were they talking to in. Was it Shaq when they were talking about Doc Rivers going there, and they talked about Doc is a former champion and stuff, and then Shaq was like, "Well, hold on a minute, the players won that championship because even some of the players didn't respect Doc or didn't listen to Doc, like Rajon and everything like that." So I was really intrigued when I heard that one. I was like, "Well, I never thought of it like that." He really only has ever won anything one time, and he kind of, not saying he had a God squad, but he kind of had like half the good players.
Oh, the Celtics back then were a damn good team. They were damn good. And all of his teams afterwards have been damn good. He just hasn't gotten it done since then.
He just doesn't know how to get it done.
So we'll see how this goes. Honestly, I don't think this changes much for the Bucks' trajectory this season. I think they need like an off-season to work to this team because this team is just a little. You could tell from the jump, it wasn't just the coach. It was just like the makeup of this team just isn't. It just isn't right. Like they don't. It just doesn't seem right. It's hard to explain, especially defensively. I don't think Doc Rivers is just going to help them that much. It's probably going to take an off-season to kind of fix this stuff. Moving on. The Heat make a trade. My Heatles finally make a trade, and it's not for, as we like to say on Heat Twitter, a whale. We actually got just a guy that can come in and just make an impact right away. Didn't have to give up too much. The Heat got Scary Terry. So the Heat trade Lowry and a first-round pick in 2027 that's protected for Scary Terry from the Hornets. Terry Rozier is averaging like 23 points a game this year on like 47% shooting. I think 47% shooting. Lowry's deal, he was on an expiring contract, so the Hornets essentially just get an expired contract that they can move later on if they want to. If not, that's money off their books, and they get a little sweetener with a pick. And then for Miami, we get some scoring. He came off the bench today, but in the future he will start, and he will be able to give the Heat anywhere from I would say 18 to 23 points. Some much needed offensive firepower that we've been lacking for the past, honestly, 4 years. I think it's a win-win for both teams, especially for the Heat. Didn't have to give up too much. How do you feel this trade went down? What are your grades for this trade, Lawrence?
I watched someone give this trade an A and an A, and I was like, I completely agree. That is a great AA trade. Because if you look at it, if you're the Hornets, you got to think to yourself, okay, Brandon Miller is doing really well. This is probably the peak value we can get out of Rozier. If we keep him a little longer, he's not going to be a first-round pick. If I get a first-round pick in the next 2 years from the Heat, it's not going to mean anything. But if I get a first-round pick from the Heat in 3 years, well, there's a good chance the Heat will be like have a down year in 3 years. You know, Jimmy Butler might be retiring or moving on or have gone, or they just might not be that bad and they might not be that good. For the Heat, Kyle Lowry just hasn't been it. They need a little bit more. Terry Rozier can give them more, and Terry Rozier is already a fan of the Heat. They were showing posts of him posting things about the Heat when they went on that little title run. He was talking about Dad Wade. So obviously, he's a big fan. So I can bring in a good player. Don't have to really overpay him. I don't think it's an overpaying. Because honestly, if you're the Heat, that if I can win a title, that first round pick doesn't mean anything to me in reality. So, I think it was a great move for both. One person trims fat. Terry Rozier's contract's off the books. At the end of the year, Kyle Lowry, or they buy him out, he could be off the books. It's just an overall just give me win.
Yeah, big win for the Heat. Scary Terry's contract is guaranteed for at least the next 2 years. The third year, I believe, is like a partial. So Heat have him for at least 2 more seasons after this. And the good thing is, if his value keeps increasing, they can flip him. Or if he's just a good fit, hey, just keep him. But if he doesn't work out, he's, I wouldn't say easily movable again, but with the way he's played this year, he definitely can be moved this off-season if needed. Honestly, they could get a star from him, package him and one of the young guys, but they only have 2 firsts that they can trade, and they have to trade the second first on draft night. So little maneuvering that they have to do if they want to make a splash for a star. But honestly, I think this is more than enough. The Heat still, in my opinion, need to make one more move for like a wing. They need someone who can come in like Hami, play that role as Hami. Because he's hurt. So if either him or Hero or Jimmy gets hurt, they need another guy who can step right in, take some of the pressure off. But that's another story for another day. What else do we have? Oh, the USA basketball list just came out the other day. They excluded Draymond. Grant Hill said because of his suspension. Basically, they don't want Draymond punching people before Paris Olympics. But I think the list was like 41 deep. I want to say, oh, here it is. We got Bam, Jared Allen, Paulo, Desmond Bain, Scotty Barnes, Booker, Mikal Bridges, Jaylen Brown, Jalen Brunson, Jimmy, Caruso. Okay, I didn't see that at first. Steph, AD, KD, Ant-Man, Joel, Fox, PG, Gordon, Halliburton, Harden, Hart, Hero, Holiday, Chet, BI, Kyrie, Triple J, Royce to LeBron. Ooh, Cam Johnson, Walker Kessler, Kawhi, Dame, Donovan Mitchell, Chris Paul, Bobby Portis, Austin Reeves, Duncan Robinson, Tatum, White, and Trae Young. How do we feel about this final list of pool players? Now, not all these guys are going to be on the team. This is just, like the people they're considering for Paris.
Ah, man, whoever we get, as long as they actually play, like they should and like they play in the NBA, we should have no problems. Honestly, if I'm them, I would run it back with the oldest guys possible, and because you got to let LeBron and KD play one more time with each other, because both of them are probably not going to have another run. Oh, I'm sorry, LeBron's definitely not getting another run.
Definitely not.
KD's probably won't be interested in another run. He'll be kind of older by then. No, I think we just give the old guys a shout and throw them all out there. Curry, LeBron. I don't know. I don't even remember your full list, but give me the old men. Give me the old guys. And we don't need any troublemakers. We don't need any loudmouths. I want guys who are willing to go in there and get the job done and get on out. So when I say that, I mean, you know who I'm looking at. You know who I'm talking about. Just leave them off. They don't need to go. It's not necessary. But honestly, if we're gonna give someone a shout who we may or may not think is worthy of going, but I think honestly, I think you gotta send Jalen Brunson, because I mean I'm looking at the All-Star voting and everything. To me, Jalen Brunson getting kind of snubbed by the fans right now because I think he's only 5th. I'm pretty sure he's only 5th or 6th in the voting. I don't know, man. Jalen Brunson, he's getting 30 points a night every night now. No, to be fair, there are some guys ahead of him that are doing okay, but I get it. Dame Lillard's going to get the popularity vote, but you can't tell me right now Dame Lillard's having a better season stat-wise than Jalen Brunson, because that's definitely not happening.
Yeah, for sure. The fans most of the time don't know what they're going on about. And a lot of times, like these bot accounts that just like, oh, here, just retweet. Yeah, I wouldn't. This popularity contest that All-Star voting's become is a little bit crazy. Jalen Brunson's been balling out of his mind. Definitely deserves a go. My only concern is still the lack of big men. I mean, hopefully Anthony Davis plays. Because other than that, they really don't have big men. I mean, Jaren Jackson, but we saw what happened during the FIBA World Cup where he got picked on and couldn't rebound and save his life.
If you take Bam, you'll be fine. You'll be fine with Bam. Let's not play around. Bam is. I'm not saying he's not serviceable, but Bam does a good job in the NBA. Okay, you go overseas. These NBA guys. These guys aren't playing in the NBA. Who is Bam? Does Bam prove he can't fight against Jokic every other night, or not every night? But when he plays Jokic, does he not prove that he can go against Jokic? I thought in the finals he proved he could go against Jokic. I think Bam is. You can take Bam with you, and you're. He did
his best. He did his best. But bigs have been a problem. American bigs just haven't been up to snuff with some of these European guys. But Joel hopefully will play. So hopefully we'll get like some combination of AD, Bam, Joel. And I guess we'll take Jaren Jackson.
Now, is Joel low-key a cheat code?
Yeah, because he could have played for us. He could have played for France, or he could have played for the Congo. So he chose to be eligible for the U.S. team because I guess his son was born like a couple months ago.
Yeah, but I don't think he can be eligible for he can't be eligible for the Congo, but I'm pretty confident Congo didn't qualify, so.
Oh, yeah, I don't think they made it. So it was just, it was between us and France. Now, if he was on France, him, Wemby, Gobert, oh, Lord. They'd be unstoppable. I think France would have a good shot to win. Germany's pretty good, too. Germany, they won the cup. But yeah, that's the list of players eligible for the final Olympic team. That final list won't come out till probably like summertime when the Olympics start. But other than that, guys, that is it. That's all we got for rapid fire. Once again, we will be at the Mason homecoming this Saturday. Who do we play, Lawrence? Who do we play this Saturday?
We play in Rhode Island.
Do you have a prediction right here? Who will win between Mason, Patriots, and I don't know, Rhode Island's mascot?
I don't know their mascot either. But Rhode Island. Hopefully we can beat Rhode Island. Rhode Island started hot in the A10, then they got cold. So hopefully we can keep their cold streak going. We can stay a little bit warmer. We're a big favorite. No idea what the spread's gonna be, but if I can get Mason for under 6.5, I'll take it. So if the line comes out and Mason's -4.5, I might call you in the morning of and ask, do you want to drive out to Maryland? Place a little bet on that, so we can either lose or win that one. I hopefully they don't catch on to the Mason under being golden. Hopefully they don't do us dirty on this one. But Mason unders have been kind of golden for the last couple games.
Okay, yeah, I will for sure be making that drive to Maryland. The game's at 4, so we have plenty of time to make the drive and then get on with the other festivities of the day. Anything else you got before we head on out of here?
No, I'm currently sweating the Seton Hall versus Providence game. I need Seton Hall dub. I need them to win right now, and I'm kind of sick to my stomach watching our old coach take this one. Watch him take it.
Yeah,
I thought I'm pretty high on Seton Hall. This is one of those blemish games that Seton Hall is going to come to regret having been in this close of a fight. But it is what it is. Seton Hall is currently down 59-64. Our old guy, our old stopping ground, Ordoro, for some reason the other night when I picked him to do good, he didn't want to play good, and tonight when I needed him to play bad, he wants to play good. That's just the GMU way. You got to screw your alumni over. So,
16 points, 8 rebounds. He is a double-double machine, so he's pretty close to that dub-dub.
Yeah, but it's just the field goal percentage and the free throw. He's perfect on free throws, and he's basically automatic from field goal right now.
Yeah, that kid, if he's within 10 feet of the bucket, it's pretty much a wrap. If he gets a good look, it's going to go in most times. So what, you need Providence to lose?
I just need Providence to lose, Seton Hall to win. Unfortunately, Seton Hall decided to go cold in the second half. You hate to see it, but Seton Hall is still letting this one guy shoot. I get it, he's your best guy, your best player and everything, but I'm sorry, Mans is 9 for 21. There's got to be someone else on the court that can be hotter than that. I mean, at the end of the day, these are all college athletes. They all grew up playing this game. Someone has to be able to beat this spread. But anyways, win or lose, we're smiling because we took Richmond. We took Richmond spread. We put a lot of money on that one, and Richmond's currently wiping them right now. So we're liking that Richmond spread.
Good stuff. Good stuff. With that, let's head on out of here. It's the MTL Sports Podcast, episode 69. We will see you guys next week. Have a good weekend. Enjoy your weekend. Enjoy Championship Sunday. All that good stuff. We're out. Peace.
Me